Let me start with this new rule on the show. Our new rule on the show. If an athlete is aging, but he's not talking about retirement, then we are not going to talk about his retirement. Drew Brees, he talked about for a couple years his retirement. Brett Favre talked about his retirement forever. Big Ben, 6 years ago, was talking retirement. Phillip Rivers talked retirement. So it's fair game. Tom Brady is not only talking retirement. He was asked yesterday a question before a Super Bowl, and he said, I think we're going to be way better next year. Do we have the bite from Tom Brady? This is Tom Brady. When asked about a Super Bowl question, he pivots to next year. He's not quitting. Stop talking about it. Stop asking questions. If the player's not talking about it, they have no intention of it. I mean, you've known people in your life, your dad, your grandpa, your dad's friends, they're insurance agents. They're like 62. They're over it. They're going to sell their company. You know somebody's worked at a factory for years and they're counting down the clock. And Tom is headed to a Super Bowl, asked a question, and pivots to, we're going to be way better next year. I'm not going to talk about his retirement. Listen, it kind of sounds ridiculous, right? They're going to be better next year. Well, there's no question they are. Think about this. Number one, he had a new offense for the first time in 20 years with no training camp. Okay. Leonard Fournette got there right before the season. Antonio Brown got there right in the season. And Tristan Wirfs, with no preseason, was a rookie at right tackle. The schedule's much easier. Remember, they're a wild card team. They don't play a number one schedule. No Kansas City Chiefs, no Green Bay Packers, and they face the NFC East. And add this, every quarterback's better second year in a system. Here's another big break for the Buccaneers, is that Green Bay and Seattle are two of their big obstacles. We would admit that. Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Well, let's talk about Seattle. Oh, Matt Stafford's now in their division twice a year. And Kyler Murray's getting better. Seattle's road is tougher in division. What about Green Bay? Oh, they have a number one schedule. Oh, by the way, they got a bad break. They face the NFC West. So they got to face Seattle, San Francisco, Arizona, and the Rams. And they also face the AFC North. Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, and improving Cincinnati. So it's very likely that Tampa Bay will be a number one seed. And I think certainly this morning, all of you would acknowledge they're going to win the division. Carolina's still in a rebuild. Atlanta's kind of in a rebuild. And New Orleans has no Drew Brees, not sure who's going to be quarterback, and way the hell over the cap. So they're going to move pieces. Add the fact that Jason Light, the general manager for the Bucs, unlike Belichick, is a great draft weekend guy. He has hit home run after home run in the draft. Listen, I know all you Brady haters don't want to hear this, but he signed a 2-year deal, and they are a mile ahead of where we thought they would be. They're ahead of the plan. They're one of 4 rosters in the NFL, maybe 3. They don't have a hole. I looked at mock drafts last night on Tampa. Their first pick, it's a defensive lineman. Their defensive line's already amazing. That's just more icing on the carrot cake. It's like they don't need it. They're literally at a surplus of talent at key positions. They don't have a need. They just draft best dude available. And that is a luxury about 3 teams in the NFL have. Even the Colts' excellent roster, they got to get another receiver. And that's an excellent roster. Even the Chargers' excellent roster, they got to draft a left tackle. Even the Rams' excellent roster, they could use a speed receiver, and I'd go on the defensive line again. So I'm just not going to talk about retiring for players when they don't talk about it. Breeze did, Favre did, Ben does, so I do. Phillip Rivers does, so I do. Basketball players, Michael Jordan hinted at it, I will. LeBron's not, Brady's not, I'm not. Okay, so the Deshaun Watson stuff just cracks me up. It just cracks me up. You know, I've said this before. What do we want our athletes to be, and what do we want our athletes to do? So now Deshaun Watson, he's got ex-players ripping him. He's got ex-coaches ripping him because he wants out of the dysfunction of Houston. Brett Favre, his latest comment, he gives us about one beauty every 2-3 weeks, a gem a month from Brett. Yeah, the difference, of course, is that at the end of Brett Favre's career in Green Bay, he was the only unstable thing. The team was stable. The players were stable. The roster was stable. Favre was the unstable part of it. He didn't want to learn a new offense. He got increasingly needy. He didn't help Aaron Rodgers grow. He threatened retirement. He didn't want to go to training camp. Favre was the unstable part of the Packers. Deshaun's the opposite. He's the only stable part of the dysfunctional Texans. So Brett Favre's opinion on this is nonsense. And this is not to pick on Brett Favre. Brett was the needy part of Green Bay at the end. Deshaun's the only thing not needy in Houston. But let me ask this question again. What do you want the athletes to do? So Matt Stafford says, get me out of Detroit after years of 5-11 and 6-10 and getting the hell beat out of him. And he goes to the Rams, and none of you say a peep. You congratulate Matt Stafford, you're happy for him. So do you want Deshaun Watson? What you're telling me is you want Deshaun, because they were awful this year, 4-12. You want him to have about 6 more of these, get the hell beat out of him, then go somewhere and you're going to be like, that's how you do it. Maybe Deshaun, because he was in the same division as Andrew Luck, thinks to himself, Andrew Luck kept quiet. Andrew Luck always said the right thing. Andrew Luck was a nice guy. Andrew Luck had the support. But Andrew Luck had to retire. We watched a guy let the organization trample him and always take the nice way out. He's out of football, Andrew Luck. He's out of football. We watched Matt Stafford be a team guy and a nice guy and never threaten to leave. And he was irrelevant for the last decade as an unbelievable talent, according to most scouts. Eli Manning said, I'm not going to the Chargers. And he didn't get pushback. What do you want Deshaun Watson to do? You want him to be Andrew Luck and out of the sport? You want him to be Matt Stafford and irrelevant for 30 years or 20 years or 10 years? Is that what you're looking for? Don't we want star quarterbacks to have a good coach and a good team like Mahomes? You do get, if Mahomes was in Jacksonville, this would not be what Mahomes looks like. You do get that Andy Reid, Brett Veach, the GM, the Hunt family, the offense. You do get, as much as I like Mahomes, it's helped a lot to escalate, to elevate the journey, to expedite it, to, no roadblocks, no stumbling, park the Mercedes, here's the keys. We want more Mahomes. We want less Stafford. We want less Andrew Luck. Dick Vermeil's ripping him. He should just be quiet and, just here's the contract. And what are you talking about? I ask this all the time. What do you want athletes to do? Did you want LeBron James to stay in Cleveland after 7 years and they couldn't get him an all-star? You didn't watch the Miami stuff? You didn't watch the Lakers? You didn't watch the Kyrie LeBron in Cleveland? We would have none of that if it was up to a lot of GMs and former quarterbacks. You just take a job, stay there with crappy coaches, bad owners, lousy GMs, and just deal with it. I wouldn't. Why do you think I've changed jobs? I wouldn't. Why should an athlete? I have a 35-year career. They get 10. But Deshaun has looked in division at Andrew Luck be the nice guy, and it ended his career. He watched Matt Stafford be the nice guy and become irrelevant for over a decade. He's like, give him credit for being observant. I don't want any part of that. And he didn't do what Eli did, which is, I'm not going there. So now he's trapped in a terrible marriage. Anybody in a terrible marriage should have the right to get out of it. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.